everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are in West Virginia, just a short drive from the D.C. metro area, and we're hanging out at Charlestown Races and Slots so that we can get a look at the world of horse racing. We're going to talk to some jockeys and the people who train them, and as if that weren't enough, we're also going to gamble. Since it was founded in 1933, Charlestown Races and Slots has welcomed historical figures, teetered on the brink of collapse, and re-emerged as a premier gaming and entertainment facility. It's where many jockeys began their Hall of Fame careers, and where trainers like Jeff Runco made history. So Jeff, this entire stable is filled with your horses?
Correct.
How many are in here?
We have 48 horses in here right now.
And you train all of these horses?
Yes.
Do you have a crew that helps you?
Yeah, we have 25 people employed here at the track.
So how long does a horse train before it participates in a race?
Well, a lot of these horses, they're purchased at the sales, or they're bred, and they're broken as yearling right before they turn two, late fall. But a lot of them, they start as 2-year-olds in training. They'll go to a training center, they'll get broken, and get their preliminary start where they learn to gallop and go and do some of the preliminary stuff. They'll come to me after that, and then we'll get them started as 2-year-olds. And it usually takes for another 3 or 4 months. The total process usually is 5 or 6 months from the first time they ever see a saddle until they're ready to go to the gate.
That's fast. Wow, that seems fast to me at least. And so how many races will they participate in a given year, for example?
They're all different, but I would say on the average, some of the horses run between anywhere from 8 to 12 times a year, something like that. Maybe a little bit more depending on the horse.
And so then you employ a team of jockeys to ride the horses?
I don't employ a team. I actually work with agents, and
okay.
I select certain jockeys for certain horses, and I deal with their agents as far as who I'm going to use for racing purposes.
So you used to be a jockey, right?
Yeah, in the late 70s, early 80s, I rode for about 4 or 5 years.
And why'd you stop?
Just got too heavy and just got tired of fighting my weight, so I changed to training, and we just started with a few horses, and our business has grown, and over the years, and we just got bigger and larger stable since then.
When you have horses in races, what type of emotions do you experience?
Well, it's always exciting when we have horses in. There's no question about it. But there's certain horses that just bring it to a different level. We have a really good horse in here right now, one of the top handicapped horses in the country this year, a horse called Researcher. And he really is an exciting horse. He's gone to New York and Churchill Downs. He's gone all over the country as far as racing. He won a graded stake last year. He's a fabulous horse, and he's a little special when he runs. But all of them, we have a lot of quality horses, and it's exciting. It's when they're running, it's a really fun feeling.
How long do you get to work with the horses? Do they have several years of racing life in them before they retire?
They're all different in that aspect. I mean, some horses I'll have had for a long time. I mean, I've had them for maybe 4, 5, 6 years, and they'll get a rest in between time. They won't be here at the track the whole time. They'll get rest and go to the farm for a while and come back and go back in training. Then some other horses, they'll be lightly raced, and they may go stop and be brood mares, or if something happens to get injured, we may stop on them and they won't race anymore depending on the horse. They're all different.
Now, when you watch the races, are you very composed, or will you be up there like screaming with us, or?
I'm pretty relaxed. I'm pretty relaxed.
After talking with Jeff, I had some questions for one of the jockeys. Matt, how did you first get into horse racing?
I had family friends that lived in Oklahoma that trained quarter horses, race horses. And I went to work on a farm, and it was a owner-trainer operation, and the man's wife galloped their own horses, which means they exercised them in the morning, and I kind of watched her galloping for about 3 or 4 weeks, and one day she just kind of looked at me and said, you think you can do that? And I'd ridden horses all my life. I said, yeah, I can do that.
And were you afraid when you began, and are you afraid currently at moments?
When you're first few races, you get nervous. You get nervous going into the gate. Some big races, you'll get nervous. But now, after 9 years of riding, no. It's amazing what the human mind can eventually perceive as normal.
And how do you feel about racing on days like today when the track is wet? Is it more frightening?
No, they wear a certain shoe. They'll wear a certain shoe like 4 days like today. Most horses, kind of like in the mornings, like I was talking about earlier, they'll gallop over this in the mornings. They're used to it. It can be a little bit more inherently dangerous. It can be a little bit slippery. You take certain precautions a little bit more on a night like tonight. But not really. You kind of get used to it because it's an outdoor sport. You're going to play in the rain, once or twice. It's going to happen.
And is there a sense of camaraderie or community amongst the jockeys?
Somewhat. You kind of have to be, because, you know, it's one of the very few sports where there's 9 or 10 other horses in that field that when you break out of that gate, you know, the person next to you, if he makes the wrong move, can cost you serious injury or your life. And yes, you're competing, you want to win, and so you're trying to do everything you can to get that win, but yet you also have to have that sense of camaraderie, because, you know, this person holds his life in your hands as of you can hold your his life in yours.
So trust has a huge functionality.
Yeah, you kind of have to have, you know, and it's like any work environment. You have to work with these people every day of the week, you know, every other jockey that's in there, only there's that edge to it that, you know, our job is life-threatening, you know. So yeah, granted you want to compete and you want to win, but there is that camaraderie you have to have.
Matt, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and I'm really looking forward to watching you race. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
As the jockeys got ready for the races, it was time for me to gamble. So for someone who has never bet before, it can be a bit overwhelming. That manual is kind of intense. Can you give us a breakdown of how the betting works?
Sure. Now, like you said, there's a lot of information in there, and it's a little daunting sometimes, but in each race, there are different types of wagers you can make. Win, place, show, which is, you know, for the horses coming first, second, or third, and more exotic bets that include 1, 2, 3 horses, 4 horses. You can bet anywhere from $2 up to whatever you can afford. And, you know, there's usually 10 horses in a race here, 10 races a night, and we offer a full menu of wagering on all of them.
So now I am about to bet on a horse race. I have chosen a horse named Major Danger, and I have a lot of faith. However, I am only betting $2. Can I please put $2 for number 8 to win? I was really excited for the races to begin. The wet terrain, however, had me feeling nervous for the horses and their jockeys, and I spent most of the first race chanting, "Please don't fall." Please don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall. Luckily, my worries were unfounded. The horses were sure-footed and seemed completely unfazed by the weather. The horse I bet on didn't win, but one of Jeff's horses did, and he invited me down to the winner's circle to be a part of the celebration. After the races, we headed to the slots. We are now in a room that appeals to me greatly, the gaming room. How many slots do you have in here?
We have over 5,000 slots, VLTs here, which represents one of the biggest facilities in the country. And most of the purse money, the majority of it, that's given out on the racing side are actually funded by revenues that come through the VLTs here. So there's an interplay in both sides. You know, just another thing that people here can come and experience.
Truth be told, I'm much more of a craps and a blackjack fan, but I had fun at the slot machines and even made a whopping 35 cents. Having worked up an appetite, I was eager to head to the dining hall. One of the things with which I've been most impressed tonight is the food. My dinner was so good that I ate far beyond the point of being full.
Yeah, the food here is very good. The chefs are great, the staff is great, the service is great. You know, we want people to have a positive experience when they come here, and that could mean the racing, entertainment, or dining here. And the Terrace restaurant with the view overlooking the track is the perfect place to do that. And recommend anybody who comes here to check us out up here. It's a good experience, like you described.
It's the end of the night, the races are over, and I am standing here in the winner's circle, which is appropriate given the fact that I could not have had a more fantastic time at Charlestown Races and Slots. And I intend to come back to watch some exciting races.